Hello there. By toadying up to the far left wealth redistributors in his party, Keir Starmer finds himself on a leash, but retains the keys to number 10 for now. What a farcical shambles that welfare bill was yesterday. And it is going to cost the average person an absolute fortune. Because the Labour rebels have smelt political blood and they know they can extract more out of Starmer going forwards. They now have the Prime Minister who took the knee once again and now finds himself on the wrong end of a very firm leash. Because his authority is shot, his leadership is in tatters. He can't even carpet Diane Abbott over her latest outburst against the IDF, even if he wanted to, even though the country would probably applaud him for doing so. But the hard left will keep Starmer ensconced in number 10 until his usefulness as a wealth redistributing cash machine is ended. And the far left in the Labour Party has only just started. In the end, by caving in comprehensively to the hard left, Starmer did get a comfortable but very, very shallow win of 335 votes to 260. And in the process left a shattered law in its wake that does nothing to either save money or make a positive impact on the people, and he left it to progress through Parliament. Starmer won the vote, but lost his power struggle with the hard left in his party, and we will count the cost. Because the money that was not saved by Starmer's chaotic welfare reform bill will now have to be found from somewhere. Is this Labour government going to scale back on the size of the state to pay for it? Of course not. Are they going to divert money out of the NHS to fund it? Never, ever. How about stopping illegal immigration? That would pay for it, as the hotel bills disappeared, wouldn't it? Fat chance of that happening. Even Starmer's plan for a new agreement with France, where every rubber boat arrival is sent straight back to France, will fail. Once those people have claimed asylum in UK waters or on our shores, which court is going to allow them to be sent back to France? Further, if we did send them back to France, under this agreement, France would fly another one straight over to replace them. All about smashing the gangs, eh? And what would happen if that number dropped to 0? A none in, none out scenario. Do you think Macron would be happy with that? Of course not. Somewhere in the small print would be an agreement that the UK must take a minimum number of immigrants directly from the French authorities with no recourse to send them back. You can smell it coming from a mile off. At the end of the day, the French police would stop monitoring their beaches, and the Coast Guard would not attempt to pick them up, because they would claim, with this new agreement, there would be no need for the French to act. Those that then arrived in the UK will still come with no documentation, and unless Starmer does what he would never do, and that is suspends the effects of the ECHR or even leaves it, then the judges will continue to stop deportations, even with a new treaty. And if, as I suspect, there is a minimum number of people we must accept from France every year, then we'd be taking those in as well. And this will be exactly how we join the new European Union migration scheme, where every member state has to take in 20,000 a year or be fined for not doing so. Starmer will have stitched us up again. But not only that, as I said, the Labour backbenchers who want to see the rich hammered and the poor get more have smelt blood. They know they can easily mobilise to get the response they hanker for. And Starmer is now so weakened that he will roll over for just about anything. And one of the Labour rebels, Andy MacDonald, is, like many others, pushing for a wealth tax of 2% on anyone with 10 million or more in assets. And there is also talk about the inevitability of income tax rises. And of course the old argument that those with the broadest shoulders must take the pain and those with the narrowest shoulders must take the gain. My reply would be, then you need to start allowing more people to get broad shoulders in the first place. Otherwise, all you end up with is a very narrow-shouldered population, where there's no one left to tax. But I fear that we are now fated to high tax, high borrow and high spend future of a Labour government. And now a quick interjection. Please like, subscribe and comment below and become a channel member to get extra content like this for less than the price of a pint in a London pub per month by clicking on the join button or following the link in the descriptions box below on a laptop or desktop computer. Now, there had previously been talk about Starmer's government maybe relaxing their first communist knee-jerk reaction of taxing non-doms to the hilt. But can you see these Labour rebels agreeing to let non-doms off the hook? Unless, of course, Starmer is prepared to allow something juicier instead. But once he's run out of those juicy morsels, he'll be for the chop. Now, we all know that when someone says they don't want to be Prime Minister, that they are really just setting the scene for a tilt at the leadership of their party. But of course it is different in the case of Angela Rayner, isn't it? When she says, in reply to a question from ITV's Lorraine, that people always say to me, do you want to be Prime Minister? Not a chance. Well, that's put that idea to bed, hasn't it? Now, the traditional addition to that would be that she wants to spend more time with the family or tending the roses. But no, in her case, she continued with, it'll age me by 10 years within 6 months. It does anyone who has been Prime Minister. It is a very challenging job. To be fair for Keir Starmer, there has been a lot going on. He's been all around the world trying to repair relationships. So for her, it's more about not wanting to age. But was there a little Freudian slip somewhere in there? Because she said, it'll age me by 10 years within 6 months. Or, meaning, it will age me by 10 years within 6 months. Wouldn't saying it would or it'd age me by 10 years within 6 months be a more accurate phrase to use, given she says she won't accept the job? Yes, pedantic, I know, but as soon as you hear that she wouldn't ever be PM unless she was called upon to do it, you know the game's afoot. Finally, please like, subscribe and comment below, and a big shout out to our members and Patreon supporters, and thank you for watching.